Yeah, I relate to this guy's experiences working at Baskin-Robbins. Oh, customer service. Good times. Hey there guys, how are you? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to yet another brand new movie review. And as always, I thank you all so much for stopping by and I hope you enjoy your stay. And welcome back to the Marvel Studios playlist, y'all. We are chugging right along through all 23 of their previous films that have already been released, all in the hype up to Black Widow and all these exciting projects that are being spewed off on Disney+. But this time around, we're finishing off Phase 2 with Ant-Man. The weirdest of the weird. This one was directed by Peyton Reed and it stars Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Douglas, Michael Peña, among others. Forced out of his own company by former protege Darren Cross, who's played here by Corey Stoll, Dr. Hank Pym, played by Michael Douglas, recruits the talents of Scott Lang, played by Paul Rudd. Lang is a master thief who's just been released from prison, and Lang eventually becomes Ant-Man, trained under Pym's tutelage and armed with a suit that allows him to shrink in size, possess superhuman strength, and control an army of ants. And this miniature hero must use his new skills to prevent Cross, also known as Yellow Jacket, from perfecting the same technology and using it as a weapon for evil. And as per usual with all this Marvel talk on my channel, this video may be filled with mild to moderate spoilers. So just in case you guys have never seen Ant-Man, go ahead and pause the video right here, go ahead and watch the film and then come right back. So as strange as this concept is, this is still some of the most fun you'll ever have with a Marvel flick. One thing I really respect about this film is that it feels so small scale and simple in concept. And the film is very self-aware of that. Scott Lang himself mentioned something along the lines of, oh, well, why don't we just get the Avengers to solve this problem? And Hank Pym responds, well, sometimes these are smaller problems that we have to deal with. And sometimes the Avengers are busy. And that is one of the many things, along with a bevy of others, that make me absolutely adore Ant-Man. In a sense, this is a heist film wearing Marvel Comics clothing where the hero can shrink. Sounds easy enough. Well, these actors and these filmmakers came together and they gave us a total blast from start to finish. And that's due in part to the film's sense of humor. Ant-Man is fucking hilarious. Like, even on a rewatch, I'm honestly sitting here still surprised at how much I was laughing at this movie, even 6 years after its release. And the comedy is so quick and the jokes are so snappy. The filmmaking around some of this comedy is even better, and we'll get to all of that in just a second. But I gotta talk about Paul Rudd, because he absolutely nails it as Scott Lang. He was such a revelation in this role, because a lot of us knew him for his comedy work before this. Like, I know him from his work on SNL, Friends, Anchorman. When I first found out that this guy was gonna be in a big Marvel action flick, I was like, interesting. Like, I didn't know how to react to that, but as soon as I sat down in that theater and I was watching Scott Lang do his thing, he sold me. Hook, line, and sinker. He proved himself to be a phenomenal new addition to the MCU, and he will continue to be a staple, I'm sure, in this universe for years to come. And while I'm on the subject of comedy, I gotta mention Michael Peña, don't I? Because every single word out of this guy's mouth in this film, ridiculously funny. I'm specifically thinking of his summaries of things that happened in the past and the way he describes them, and how the filmmaking and the editing is around these descriptions. Yes, it's just gut-busting. Every single time, without fail. All of these actors are phenomenal. Evangeline Lilly as Hope is very good. Bobby Cannavale as Paxton, who's basically the fiancé of Scott Lang's ex-wife, who's also a cop in charge of multiple arrests of Scott. Kind of awkward. He's very good in the role, though. He sells it. And lots of my friends forget this one. Anthony Mackie, once again, as Falcon. His appearance here was golden. It's a really fun fight sequence at Avengers headquarters, and that's what kind of ties up the connection that Ant-Man makes in siding with Cap in Civil War. And last but not least, Michael freaking Douglas as Hank Pym, man. Dare I say perfect casting? He definitely brings his comedic chops to this movie, but he also feels like someone who you don't want to get on the wrong side of. Also a man who's dealing with some personal tragedy himself and dealing with the loss of his wife into what he calls the quantum realm, which we will all discuss together in another video video. There are just so many depths and layers into Hank Pym as a character, and Michael Douglas nails every single aspect of it. He's absolutely brilliant in this film. I don't really think he gets enough credit. He gets it. And I also really gotta commend all these action sequences and the CGI, because through 2 phases up to this point, these action scenes were some of the most imaginative that I had seen Marvel try. Now, I know that some of you might be thinking, oh, this isn't the first time that a hero has shrunken down to size and normal mundane objects appear giant. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, anyone? But when I say imaginative in regards to the sequences within Ant-Man, it's what they do with these sequences that really gets me. Never did I think a bathtub scene would be as horrific as Psycho. And the shrinking power, in a sense, really opens up a whole new realm, figuratively, for Marvel to explore. I mean, guys, we're crying out loud. The big action climax takes place on a Thomas the Tank Engine train set. I mean, what other proof do you need to tell you how fun this film is? Seriously though, it truly is. It's one I really tend to gravitate towards on rewatching over and over again, because I know I'm guaranteed a fun time for 2 hours. I would like to mention, though, there are a couple of flaws that I have with this movie that are keeping it out of my truly all-time favorite Marvel films. It's not even in my top 10, really. So I feel like I need to address these 2 things. First of all, this villain... I really don't know what to say, guys. Now, this character is played by Stoll, as a lot of you are aware, and I have no problems or qualms with his performance. The yellow jacket suit, once he puts it on towards the 3rd act, he looks really, really freaking menacing in it. The character, on the other hand, Darren Cross, just to sum up one question for you all. Who is this villain? He's an evil businessman in a suit who just wants to take over Pym Technologies and cater it to his own vision. Where have I seen this guy before? Like, I legit couldn't believe it. The first time I saw this movie, all I was thinking was, haven't I already dealt with this guy through 3 Iron Man films? Like, why did I have to go through this again? As far as the antagonist column goes for Marvel through 2 phases, it felt very scrub, rinse, repeat. And there's also one major name present from the production side of the table that I feel like needs addressing, and that's Edgar Wright. This guy is one of my personal favorite directors. Every single movie he's made, whether it's Shaun of the Dead, Baby Driver, he just makes his films so damn fun. And when I heard that he was helming a film centered around a Marvel heist a few years back, I was like, hell yeah, give it to me now. But unfortunately, I'm sure most of you know this by now, Edgar Wright backed out of the film before it ever started production, I believe. And I feel like he had to back out of the project over creative differences. Don't quote me on that, correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, I'm not sure. And Marvel does give him story and screenplay credit here, which I do think was a nice gesture on their part. And even though Peyton Reed proves himself more than capable to be sitting in the director's chair here, and he does do a fairly decent job helming this, man, I really wish Edgar Wright had directed this one. Even just watching this film, you can truly see the Edgar Wright influence seeping through the cracks. And could you guys imagine if he had stayed on how much crisper this editing would have looked? Could you imagine how much quicker of a pace this movie would have had? And don't get me wrong, the technicals and the editing are all solid here, and Ant-Man is very reasonably paced overall. But trust me, especially if you've seen some of Edgar Wright's other works, when you know, you know. Besides those 2 issues that I have, I really do love Ant-Man. It's always a great deal of fun, which if you've never seen it, oh boy, you're missing out. I'm gonna give Ant-Man an A-. And also, as per with all these other MCU projects, stay tuned for the mid-credits and the post-credits scenes, because those are very important to check out because they both play into not only Ant-Man's sequel, but also the next film we're gonna talk about on this playlist. Which, as per, stay tuned for all this new exciting content hitting the channel very, very soon, including that next installment in the Marvel Studios playlist, Captain America Civil War, otherwise known as the real Avengers 2. But all this is just my opinion, of course. What do you guys think of Ant-Man? Do you like the film? Do you not? What is your favorite Phase 2 film overall? Let's discuss all these topics and then some, discussing cinema and all things entertainment, all down there in the comments, because I love it. I love what I do here. I love discussing all these different topics with you guys. And if these topics sound appealing to you, if you're liking my videos so far, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button down below as hard as you possibly can. Especially if you're new or if you haven't hit that red button already, because you guys will be the first ones to know anytime a new upload hits the channel. And it's also free. And be sure to hit that thumbs up button on your way out also if you did enjoy the video. It would really help out the channel. And as I mentioned, look out for other exciting videos hitting this channel very, very soon. You guys are awesome. With all that being said, Backtalk commence!